This lesson is a mini lesson on slope to review what we did last week, but then to also teach you a new skill. So remember, when we find the slope, first when we're given a graph and a line, to find the slope, first we need to find the good points. And the good points are where our graph crosses over at the corners of the grid mark. So I'm looking, if I look really closely there, I can tell that that is not actually a good point because it's not quite on the corners. And it looks like here is our next good point. So we have two good points on this graph. Then we draw our arrow in. We draw our triangle in. So I draw my triangle like that. And then I know that it's the y over the x, so I need to find my change in y. My change in y here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can see these go by ones. And then I found my change in x, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my y goes on top. So my slope for this question will be 8 over 5. 8 over 5 does not simplify. So now we're done with the slope of that one. So the next one I can tell right away is a negative slope because it's going down. So I find my good point. There's a good point right there. This one has several good points. So when you have a lot of good points like that, you can really draw your triangle whatever you want. I'm just going to draw this first one here. So once again, my axis, the x and the y, both go up by 1. So I find my change in y, which is negative 2 because it went down, and my change in x is 1. So my change in y over the change in x is going to be negative 2 over 1. You could just write that as negative 2, or you could leave it negative 2 over 1. Now the next part is the new part. This time we're going to be given a point, and we have to graph the line based on that point. And this question says find the line with a slope of negative 2/5 that contains point negative 3, 5. So first you need to graph the point, negative 3, 5. I always go sideways first and then up and down. So negative 3 will go to the left 3 and then up 5. So there's my point to start. Then I figure out what the slope is telling me. So my slope is telling me negative 2 over 5. The first one is the change in the y. It's the up or the down. So this goes down 2. And the second one is the change in x. It goes over. So it's going to go down 2. And I always like to just make sure that it goes right. So down 2, right 5. So we'll go down 2, count 1, 2. And then right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of like you're making the triangle. Then down 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then connect those lines. It does not have to be perfect. If you really want it to be perfect, you could use the line tool. And then one more. So this one says negative 2. The line contains negative 2, 7. So I go to negative 2 and then up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So negative 2, 7 is right there. And this time it says it has a slope of 4. And as we know, we put a 1 underneath it. So this means that it goes up 4 and then right 1. Well, I kind of have a problem here because I can't go up 4. So instead, I'm going to go backwards and I'm going to figure out what point over here will go up 4 and then over 1. And I think it's right here because it'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. Then I do the same thing again. I know it's going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. And there is our line. Now we're ready to practice. You're going to be doing a class kick on this next.